Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we are joined by our friend Seamus, also known as Deezill. He was kind enough to take time out of his day to come on the show and talk about his music. We are extremely grateful to have him in the studio. And yeah, thanks for coming on today, man.
Yeah, of course, guys.
Yeah,
What's going on, man? Yeah, we had to drive basically 2 hours to come get you, but it's all right.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
made it happen.
should be closer, but it's New Jersey, so.
Yeah. All right, Dom.
Yo.
How do you know Seamus?
So, me and Seamus met about 2 years ago, or like 2 falls ago. We met at a shoot that I was at. He was working at a store, and I guess we kind of just like interact with one another. And he was like, "Oh, like you know, you're a filmmaker, like going, trying to become a filmmaker, do video shoots and stuff." So I was like, "Yeah, like oh," he's like, I kind of am into that type of stuff." And then we kind of just started like talking about that. He said he wants to get into music. He likes film. Then we talked about it a little bit yesterday that he kind of has a background a little bit, or I guess like more of an interest, right?
Yeah.
You would say.
Yeah, I mean, did stuff in high school for acting and stuff like that. So
Right. Nice.
I was going to go to school for film and then kind of stop that path.
Yeah. So I remember we had a long conversation, and I think the interest kind of popped there, and then he started following me on Instagram, and then I think we liked each other's stuff like here and there, but then this February I noticed he came out with an album, which I didn't really know. He kind of like, I guess we talked about it a little bit, like how you get into music, but I didn't know like you want to do rapping, and you came out with this album, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta listen to this. And as soon as I started listening to it, like I was in, man. I was invested. So that's kind of how it came about.
Yeah, we haven't really talked much music, and I remember when Dom told me, like, listen, like, I'm thinking about having this guy on, you should really check out his stuff. And I remember the first song I listened to was Small World, and I loved it, man. Like, it was a lo-fi beat, it was very chill, I could vibe with it. And I can kind of connect to it a little bit too. We'll go deeper into that as we move along in the podcast. So just getting a little bit background on yourself, where did you grow up? What was your childhood like? Those kind of things.
Yeah, so I grew up in New Jersey. I was born in Ridgewood. One of 5 kids.
Big family.
Yeah, big family. Tons of cousins.
Nice.
My mom went to school for theater.
Okay.
So
Nice.
I had theatrical, musical background growing up. Like I did plays since I was, how old? Probably. My first show I was in was Cats.
Oh, really?
I remember me and one of my friends, we were both like, they like made up cat names for us.
Right.
So we were just extras in this giant show. It was so weird, but I remember like always being drawn to like musical theater, and like I always definitely had like a soft spot for like Broadway show tunes and stuff like that. And like also grew up just going on a bunch of road trips, so I always had like music going in the car.
That's right. So music was kind of always in your ear.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, so like when you were growing up, did you play any instruments? Was there any other hobbies you had?
Music?
Besides music?
I mean, I did theater, and like that was my biggest thing probably. I took, like I remember in elementary school, I took like some like summer painting classes and stuff here and there. So I was definitely into art. And like, I don't know, I feel like the school structure for music isn't always the best because teachers don't really make you want to follow your passion as much as you realize on your own, like that you're passionate about it. So it was never something that I was like doing a bunch of activities for music and art. It was just kind of like a thing that I was like always had a deep connection to, I feel like, though.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, that's funny you say that because I'm pretty sure you can relate to this too. Going, throughout school and things like that, when you had classes that really let you, channel that creative side, you respond better to that. You love to create, you love to, kind of see what you're made of.
Yeah, I mean, my thing too is I was not a scholar student at all. I mean, through middle school, I was kind of like a shit show. And in high school, I straightened out a little bit, tried to, do a little bit of, I guess, attention towards it. But then I was like, I knew I couldn't just sit behind a desk or do business and stuff. So I wanted to be creative, have hands-on, kind of have my own thing. I went to film school, and then I was able to actually grasp things and like actually be able to sit in classes for 2 hours or so.
Right.
It's actually just you're retaining information that it's part of your dream.
Definitely.
You know, I think I'm sure you can
Yeah,
kind of relate
for sure.
to that.
And yeah, like I said, I did a semester at Montclair, which you went to.
Right.
Like I was saying, I had to restart some classes that I already taken, so it was kind of like lecture classes where I was like, I just want to be hands-on at this point,
Right.
where I don't want to just like sit behind a desk and absorb information that I could, no offense to a lot of the classes, but obtain like on YouTube in 20 minutes versus
absolutely.
like.
Well, it's because when you're going on YouTube or trying to search for information, like you're going there for your own sake. Like you're going to like have a self-taught
You have a goal or
attitude,
something,
right?
Yeah, out of it.
Where like when you're just sitting in a fucking
Yeah, it's
3-hour
telling you
lecture, you're like,
something to
holy
do.
shit.
Yeah, no, definitely. So with that in mind, I'm curious. When did you first decide you wanted to become an artist?
Well, I definitely say acting was probably like my biggest thing I wanted to always do.
Nice.
Like I always was like a movie guy, like, you know, just always loved, like we talked about this, Christopher Nolan was like a huge influence. I remember I saw my first, I probably saw like, what's the movie? Fantastic Mr. Fox, but I saw my first Wes Anderson movie like junior year in high school.
Okay.
And like it was Rushmore, and it's a very like coming of age story.
Right.
Yeah.
So I like really resonated with that movie, and like that was like the year I like kind of shifted my whole mentality almost towards like artistic creation.
Yeah.
Basically what I did was like I was rowing in high school.
Yeah.
I was on the crew team.
Oh,
Gotcha.
wow.
And I was supposed to actually go to college for crew.
Oh, wow.
Like I was looking at schools, I was talking to coaches and stuff, and had a couple scholarship offers.
Oh, wow.
But I realized that to be able to do the things I actually want to do, I'm not gonna be able to like
Yeah.
Put that much attention
be
towards.
able to split my time
Right.
between something like that where you're waking up at 6 a.m. every day for a practice.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're spending 3 hours at a practice, and then you have classes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to also be able to follow like something you actually want to do.
Right.
Yeah. It's
like-
tough.
I mean,
If
it's
you're not,
something.
it's not something you actually want to like follow. It's like hard to commit to something
Right.
that much time.
Right.
Well, I
Like,
mean, we were both, college athletes. And I had the same thing where I played my first 3 years of baseball, and I realized, like, it's time to make a decision to chase something is going to end in a year.
Yeah.
My baseball career was going to end in a year, or take the sacrifice, stop my last year, and then put my attention right towards filmmaking.
Right.
And as of now, it's my best decision so far, I think.
No. Yeah.
I came out with a really cool project and
Definitely.
stuff, so
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah, in high school it was hard to find. It was always hard to find people that actually wanted to do those types of things,
Yeah.
because it was kind of like partying and sports were kind of the
Right.
biggest two things in high school, which isn't
Right.
to say that they're not fun or like a good time, but it's
Right.
just like when you start realizing those things like in the back of your mind that like you see yourself doing like
Yeah.
20 years from now, you're like you're literally envisioning it. You're
Right.
like, how can I almost have those feelings where like, how can I not just like think about this all the time? Like
Yeah.
it consumes you almost
It
sometimes.
really does.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's on my head 24/7, chasing a dream.
Yeah.
It's because it's so far-fetched, right? Like with the music
It's so
industry.
far-fetched, but then you watch a movie and you're like, but it's so real too. It's like right in
Absolutely.
front of you. It's
Right.
like what makes this person any different than you? Like it's like,
No,
how
absolutely.
is that person any different?
Right.
But yeah, it's the same thing. It's like it almost seems so impossible because it's so far-fetched, and there's these people that are put on this high pedestal
Right.
for being famous and
Right.
doing what they've done. But then you realize most of the time they came from the same place as you did, and
Right.
you're like,
No, definitely.
Then you relate to it as soon as you
Yeah,
hear that
for
story,
sure.
Well, it's funny you bring that up, because the one thing I think of all the time, being in your industry, as you in the film industry, and you're trying to break into the music industry, is I think about Post Malone. He releases White Iverson on SoundCloud. I think it gets 1 million hits overnight, and now he's one of the biggest stars, of our time.
Yeah, goes on tour with Justin Bieber.
Yeah, exactly. So it's crazy how it takes one track and a few of the right people to listen to it,
right,
for you to absolutely just become the next big thing. And I think the easiest way to keep going about, or not, I shouldn't say the easiest way, but I think the most efficient way is just to keep creating and to keep releasing content to people.
Yeah, for sure. You said sometimes it feels so out of reach because it's like you keep pushing that content out and then you're not getting that spark, like that overnight success.
Right.
And you're like,
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck am I doing
what did
wrong?
I do wrong?
Right.
Like versus what they did right. Like
Right.
how it's like, am I not doing the same exact shit? Like,
Yeah.
and then you're just like, that's when the turmoil happens and the anxiety happens. You're like, how do I get better
very
at
discouraged.
this? Yeah, for sure.
You know?
And that's what stops people from following what they want to do.
Absolutely.
But like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're still gonna have that anxiety if you go take a regular job. You're gonna still feel
definitely.
that same shit. You're gonna be like, you're gonna feel regret instead of anxiety, probably. But
Yeah.
Like
That's
I
the thing.
have a very addictive personality.
yeah,
So that's why, like, whenever when we started this podcast, like for the last 2 weeks, I've just gone crazy trying to market you, trying to create content, just because like whenever I have my mind set on something, like I'm gonna get it done.
yeah, I feel
No
like
matter
that
how it
same way too. It's
turns
like
out.
when I have something like I need to get done, like I won't finish anything else.
You won't even eat, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
won't
Like
even
I
need a meal.
can't even like think straight. Like besides like thinking about that one thing.
Right.
And especially with like releasing music, it's such like a not like a vulnerable thing, but like it's like you're putting your stuff out there for like people to be like, oh, I like this or I don't like this, pretty much.
Right.
Like I want this in my life or I don't want this in my life.
Right.
I don't know. It's just like a hard thing to do.
Definitely.
Without like focusing so much on it, and especially being an independent artist, like the publishing side of it is a really weird thing where it's like you have to publish in advance, like to make sure they clear all the copyrights and everything, to make sure you're good for streaming services and everything.
Yeah.
And that time period before I put out any music like onto that was like the most stressful time period for me, because it was just like it was like a limbo in between like what people know me as versus like what I actually want people to know me as.
Right,
and it's just like it was like 3 weeks like to wait for the music to be published, and I was like, that was like so much anxiety building up from that, because it was just like I'm like hyping it up and everyone like trying to get everyone's attention to it, but like
Definitely.
I don't want to be like, oh, look at this, and then people are like, this sucks, and then like
I hear you.
what all that money's for, like
Right.
what everything I put into is like,
Yeah.
Well, there's certain times too when you do release stuff, or just it's hard when you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Right. And then especially when the time comes to get feedback, that's probably the most anxiety I'll ever get. You know, when I mean, with the podcast, it's not as bad because we're constantly doing it, but like, especially with film, like what I want to do.
yeah, because you have to stop so much to do just one thing, and then you put so much time. Like, with podcasts, you can get better every episode.
Right.
Yeah.
But a film or something, it's like, that's kind of like a standstill piece of,
Right.
like a podcast is a continuation almost.
Right, definitely.
But like,
When it's just one solo track or an album or something, you're
Yeah,
just
it's
waiting
like-
for that response, and it's
there's a
nerve-wracking.
lot of, and like, also like you were saying, like putting out content, it's like after you do get good reception, then you're liable to put out good content after that only. Like you can't,
That's true.
It's like once you put out good content, then people only expect good content out of you. So like once you set a bar for yourself pretty much. And it's like,
which is kind of interesting because, you know, you want to have that worry if you get there. You know what I mean? Like, you want to make sure you get that bar and set that bar. Like, everybody loves your music.
Absolutely.
Then once you get there, be like, oh, fuck, like, now I got to keep up the reputation I got.
Right.
Yeah.
So speaking about your music, what was your first song or music piece that you released, and what was it like, the process going into it?
So my first song ever that I released was on SoundCloud with my friend Liam.
Okay.
It was called The Basement.
Nice.
And yeah, we recorded it we wrote it in my basement.
Okay.
And then we recorded it in his, like, on his porch, which was like so stupid, like on a porch during the summer where like birds were outside. On Audacity. I don't know if you know what that is. It's pretty much a free PC program for
Okay.
audio recording.
So it's kind of like a garage band.
Yeah, it's like the GarageBand for PC.
Gotcha.
When was that? When did you start?
This was summer of after senior year in high school.
Okay.
So I think it was right after I graduated sometime. So me and my friend Liam, he was a year above me, and he kind of gave me the nickname Deez or Deezy,
Yeah.
which turned into Deezill.
Nice.
So he's definitely been one of my biggest influences and like one of my best friends.
Awesome.
He went to NYU, so he was always kind of around, even though he was a year older than me.
Yeah.
And we would always drive around and freestyle in the car, and
nice.
we basically would freestyle for like hours, just driving around in his car and like recording in our phones.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we made that first song on SoundCloud, and it was just kind of like a joke song. It was like, "This is where it really starts. We're standing in the basement in the dark,
Oh, that's awesome, man.
It was like a kind of like an old-fashioned hip hop song, like just like
Yeah.
almost like a Dungeons and Dragons type.
Right.
I don't even know.
Was that like the first time?
That was the first time I ever recorded anything really, or
And
like
what
written anything. I mean, I had written like, me and my friends would like freestyle all the time, like when we were just chilling, like whatever. Like,
Right.
Right.
And that was the first time I ever like written to record, kind
Okay.
of, you know, like
Nice.
I never had written anything like as like a song before.
All right, that's awesome. Do you typically write all of your music, lyrics, beats, that kind of thing?
So, since like high school, I've been getting beats just from YouTube, just like
Okay.
searching on YouTube, like whatever beat I'm looking for. Like
Right.
I used to look up like more like 90s rap, like hip hop, like beats, like I was saying, more like just classic hip hop beats.
Yeah.
I started buying beats last summer, just in preparation for like my project that I worked on and I released in February.
Right.
Nice.
So basically, I bought all of them online, and then I kind of reached out to the producers too,
Yeah.
just to kind of like try to build a connection with them too, just because
Yeah.
you can always buy beats off of YouTube, but it's like way more expensive than actually having someone who wants to collaborate, and then
Yeah.
instead of like charge you an upfront, like maybe take like a percentage or something like that too.
So
Gotcha.
all of the beats from your album was just
From
like
YouTube,
song-
yeah.
oh, really?
So I found all of them on YouTube originally, and then
And
like
then you just
I'm
reached
good
out to all
friends
of them.
with one of them now. Stoic Beats he produced Right Now and
Oh, wow.
Cloud9.
Nice.
Okay.
So he produced Cloud9 and Right Now, and he's like
Nice.
one of my favorite producers.
Oh,
He's
definitely.
from I think Long Island.
So, with your music, I'm just curious, what style are you aiming for, and what style sort of inspired you? Any artists in mind that you would like to talk about?
So I'd say like my biggest influence as a genre is hip hop.
Yeah.
But I don't know, a lot of people think that I want to be a pop musician, which I guess, I mean, which is such a stupid thing to say, because
Right.
rap is now the most popular genre
Yeah.
in the world. So when people are like, "Oh, you sound like you're like a pop star," I'm like, but so is Drake.
Yeah,
So like,
right,
I'm
yeah.
like, so I don't get that comparison. I'm like, oh, you want to do pop, but it's like, isn't Drake a rapper?
Yeah.
People
right.
call Drake a rapper. They don't call him a pop star, even though his
Yeah.
song is called Pop Star. But
Right.
but you know what I mean? It's like,
I
it's
get
a
you.
weird thing because people try to put you in a category
Mm-hmm.
too. And it's like, I categorize it as alternative hip hop,
Right.
which is like what a lot of the stuff I listen to is like Brockhampton, Dominic Fike.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge inspiration of mine. Kind of chill,
Definitely.
relaxed music. And like, I feel like that's the biggest thing I go for is like,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not like, I don't listen to trap really.
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
don't listen to like, no offense, but like Migos. And like they're like, I think when Migos was like a phase, like that was the worst phase for music. I think right now it's getting back to like
Right.
actual hip hop and
Yeah,
like,
which is good. Come on.
yeah, in my opinion, that's great. But for a while it was like the Atlanta sound, like
Right.
the whole just like ad libs pretty
Yeah.
much. It was like, oh!
It's the mumbling rap.
Yeah.
It's like I don't get it, but
No,
I
yeah.
think the whole like jazzy beat thing like is coming back for sure. Like
Definitely.
every TikTok sound that you hear is like a sample of some old jazz stuff or like
Right.
so I'm definitely getting influenced a lot by like that too, and that's
Yeah.
not to say like I'm catering to people, but like I know like what people want to hear versus like what they don't want to hear.
Yeah.
So like, and I know that I can make music in a lot of genres. Like I have like a pretty good grasp for my music. So like I can do like regular straight up rap if I wanted to, but I like making the more melodic stuff where it's catchy and stuff that like gets stuck in your head, which is like kind of the goal of music, right? It's like when you hear somebody making a sound, like you want to end up like getting the other person to sing that, you know?
Right. And I think when it comes to, just for me personally, when it comes to music and things like that, I think simplicity is the best way to go about it. You know, once you start getting over the top with either the beat, the lyrics, or anything like that, it kind of goes away from me, at least. The simplicity is where I respond to that the best. You know, when the lyrics are simple, when the beat is simple, but they're effective at the same time. You know, they have a lot of meaning and genuine meaning behind it. So, and that's kind of the response I got from your music. I could tell it comes from a very genuine place, and there's a like almost a beautiful simplicity about it. You know what I mean? And that's, to me, like that's when I respond the best to. So
yeah, for sure.
How, you know, it's like just one catchy phrase, or it's like easier for people to remember. I listened to Cloud 9, and probably for the past week, it's been stuck in my head in a good way. You know, like I'll just be doing something day to day, and I'll be I'm singing the lyrics, and I'm like, damn, dude, like holy shit. You know, it definitely had an impact on me, which should be reassuring for you.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so if you're comfortable, we would like to ask you to freestyle a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool.
Throw a beat on.
Let me know if it's too loud or anything.
All right.
Go a little louder?
Yeah, you can put it a little louder.
That good?
Yeah, one more.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's see what you got.
Yeah. They wanna. I said, they wanna see what I got, they wanna see what I jot. I ain't jot nothing down, I'm just about to this plot. I mean, I'm about this shit like a tenant, about to flip it round. I don't know if you could see the way I'm tending, I don't know if you could see the way I'm attending. Yeah, I got this shit in the back, I'm mad offensive, looking like I'm really inattentive. Intensive care, now I don't know if you got it scared, but I gotta say all these things to you. Yeah, gotta breathe, now I gotta see all these things. I don't know if you could see the way they coming to you. Coming past like I really just a crook in the night. I don't know if you was shook, I'm not polite. Acting like I really got a soot down the fucking chimney. Acting like I'm in this, acting like I'm in the field. I'm just in the industry. I don't know if you can see the way I'm planted. Yeah, I got this shit all up in Atlantis. I don't know if you can see the bottle, but I got it and I'm planted. I don't really know if you can see the way the sauce got me off this shit. I be feeling like I'm really off statistics. I'm feeling like I'm suicidal, just going off the plane. I don't know if you can see the way I'm off this train, like.
Woo! You want to keep going?
Yeah, let me get another.
I know you gotta feel it.
Word, that was awesome, dude. Holy shit.
I'm wearing AF1s, just kidding, Jordan 1s. I'm feeling like I'm in the Air Force. I don't know if you can see the way I lie down in the street. I'll just do this shit like Morse code. I could do this shit like a bleep. I don't know, boy. Yeah, I'm feeling like I ride this horse, old course, off course. Yeah, I'm riding around the pony. I don't know if you can see it. I'm acting real lonely like Akon, but I don't know if you can see it like 8 times. Yeah, I gotta shoot this shit like 9 rhymes. I don't know if you can see this shit like 9 on my back. Rondo throwing dimes. I can see this shit in the back, looking like I'm in the field. I don't know if you can see this shit like Emmett Till in the field. Yeah, he got this shit around his neck. Shit's fucked up. I don't know. I gotta pay respect. Yeah, Eric Garner say that shit for all the people. Got some suffering. I don't know if this shit is evil. Yeah, I'm talking about the people and they all going through it. I don't know if you can see the way I pursue it. Yeah, I got the people on my back. They wanted something. I don't know if you can see it, but I wanted something.
Woo!
Damn, dude.
That's what I'm talking about.
That was awesome, man. Holy shit.
Joe, you want to try?
Nah. I'm about to say, take it away, Dom.
Hell to the no, dude.
Wow.
That was badass.
That's
Is there any more time, or
I can loop it again if you want.
you're like 30 more seconds?
Oh,
Let me give one more try.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Come on, it's good.
Okay.
We're starting right from the beginning.
Yeah, this shit sounds like a movie. All right, take 2.
I'll go louder.
Yeah. This a take two. I don't know if you could take one. I'ma shake you, looking like a baked one. I'ma pull you out the air fryer. I don't know if I could see you, but I might just air dry you. Yeah, I got you on the hang drug clips. I don't know if you could see the way I got blood drips from the fucking seams. Yeah, I'm feeling like I dream all these things, like I'm looking really standing on the beam like the talents. Yeah, to see this shit like the talents. Talents on my hands. Yeah, I'm looking like I bring all these things to this village. I don't know the way I pillage. I'm feeling like the real way I skill it. I got the fucking shit in the pan. I'm feeling like I did it again. I did it again. I shit it again. I mean, I'm like, yo, where's these pants? I need a new pair. Cause I shit it again.
That's awesome. You want to cut it there?
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough. I was
dude,
like, where am I going with this one?
Yeah. Good shit, man. Oh my God.
I've been freestyling for so long, and like I was never like I get embarrassed a little bit, but it's like I just go through it almost, or it's like,
dude, I would never be able to do that. Ever.
We had this thing when I was.
if I'm a little bit drunk too, I'm like,
We should have gave you a couple shots
yeah,
before.
that's when you get the real like. So
Yeah.
you start feeling the rhythm, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Next time.
When I
Next
was,
time we got you on, we'll
yeah.
feed you some shots.
When I was in school, they used to do. It was kind of like just this fun thing. It was called like a freshman idol, and the winners of there was 2 winners, and they would have to freestyle against one another.
That's hilarious.
So you got me, and then another white kid. Now I was probably the whitest kid on that team. You know, I listened to hard rock, classic rock, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I listened to like dad's music almost. And they
Dad's
wanted me to
barbecue.
freestyle, and they started playing this beat, and I'm just like, I don't know what you want me to do here.
Shot.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like
impossible.
improv. It's literally like improv.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
when
and
you're
yeah, I
acting.
feel like that's also a thing. I was always like I made videos in high school for this class. It was like a comedy and writing class, so it was kind of a cool class. Just like a class I
Definitely.
took senior year just as an elective.
Right.
And like I got so into improv like during that, and just senior year in general was almost like an improv class to me, where I just fucked around so much. Like I won class clown senior year because I literally just like made everything like as an act. Like I was just like,
Nice.
and like when you have like that instinct, I feel like it like definitely helps you like freestyle too, where you
Right,
just
sure.
like. Yeah, I also have like that ADHD, but you can see
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I'm
Well,
just
me
like
too, yeah.
it's just like that. Like you always have like a thought in the back of your head. And
Right.
It's like that's the hardest thing is like coming up with something next to say. So
Right.
sometimes
Yeah.
like come up with the next thing to say, but I don't have anything in between. So
Right.
like you can just hear me. I'm like blah 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 blah. blah. Like you rhyme with the last word, and that's like, I mean that's how you end up making music though. It's like
Sure.
I literally record just like freestyles like that.
Right.
And then I would go back and write it down. Like that's how I
Nice.
started off, and then
Yeah.
like just choose the rhyming words and choose
Yeah.
the rhyming words.
That's
or whatever.
awesome, dude.
Yeah, that's really cool. Really cool. All right, so talk a little bit about your processes. Let's talk a little bit about your album, Old Sport.
When did you like first start really like pen to paper start writing lyrics for this album?
So crazy, like last spring break. So I was saying my friend helped me write a lot of the songs, and we're just like we should like record some music like this summer when like you're home from school.
Right.
Definitely.
And then we recorded like last summer we recorded like I think 2 songs and put them on SoundCloud.
Okay.
And then basically we had a song from like that spring break like that we came up with that was New Phone, Who Dis.
Oh yeah.
So like we came up with that like that long ago.
Yeah.
But then I left the gathering shops and I was in California, and a lot of it was like inspired from like my trip to California. And
Right.
like
Nice.
like I'm on the road now, and like it's just like I was just like by myself pretty much in California, like trying to like I was trying to live out there, honestly, to try to act and do music out there and try to instead of living at home. But it didn't work out because I thought I had a job planned for me when I got there, and it just fell through. So it was just like I had to move back.
Right,
So
yeah.
I came back and I got a job at a restaurant, and I was just like super motivated by that trip to California to like make a passion project, I guess.
Right.
Nice.
So I was like, literally, I didn't spend like probably 5 paychecks in a row or something so I could have money to record.
Yeah.
And buy the beats, because you have to lease all the beats.
Right.
Yeah.
To put on the streaming services, you need to lease every beat.
Right.
And like it's like you only have to lease it. You don't have to buy it unless you like blow up. It's like a certain amount of views you hit.
Yeah.
You have to buy the beat.
Okay.
So it's like not a big deal if you're not like a big artist, but
Right.
it's still like I was 7 songs and it was like $50 each, and then it was like
wow.
to pay like $75 an hour to record the songs too.
Jesus.
It's like so I had to have it down by the time I recorded, so I rehearsed a bunch like all through January, like that fall, like
Right.
so that fall, like when I was in California, that was like when the songs kind of getting finished, and then that winter was like when
You
I
started
just rehearsed like everything,
Yeah.
and like got into the recording. Like I recorded, I think the first or last week of January.
Gotcha.
And then I released the last week of February.
What was the recording process in the studio like? Was it like long days? Was it kind of like in and out type thing?
So I recorded the whole thing in 2 days. Like recorded
the whole album?
Yeah, I recorded it all in
shit.
6 hours.
Oh wow.
That's how much I rehearsed it though. Like it was a lot of rehearsal. It was like, I mean, 6 hours for 7 songs. It's like to do all the layers and stuff too. It's like it was a lot. But
I mean,
I originally planned on doing it in less than that. Like I was like planning on doing it in like 4 hours.
Holy shit.
Because I was just like, I can do it each in half an hour. Like,
Right.
I mean, a song technically is only 3 minutes long,
Right,
so
right.
it shouldn't take that long. But like,
Yeah.
the engineer is working during the same time. It's like the editing process is taking place at the same time. It's not like
Right.
I have to wait for him to edit it.
Yeah.
So that is like the nice thing about using a professional studio is like they edit it. You hear exactly what you're going to sound like in the final product during it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Which is really cool to hear. So it took one day, 4 hours, and I went back the next day and did 2 hours and
Damn.
finished it up.
Wow.
So you dropped the album in February.
Yeah,
right?
February 28th, I think. Like the last week of February.
What was that feeling like when you had like all of that album, like all the music in that album? Was the anticipation when you dropped it, and how was the feedback after you dropped it?
I mean, I was super hyped about it because I was just like, this is the best music I've ever made. And I mean, I've only made like 5 songs before that were on SoundCloud, but like, I was like, this is significantly better and like almost feels like a project. Like it feels like like united almost. Like I changed up the order so many times to like try to make it feel right / also get the reception of the songs right, because I knew songs were gonna be popular versus not popular. Like I thought Right Now like was gonna be like the most popular, so that's why I put it in the middle.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if people actually really like it, they'll get to this no matter what. But
Definitely.
that was a hard thing I didn't expect. Like
The order of the
ordering
songs.
it. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's strange. I wouldn't even think that. That's
yeah,
like a
I was like, how does this song end and then this song start?
Right.
It's like, if it's like a complete opposite vibe, it's like doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
So that was a thing that took actually a lot longer than I expected. And then like I was saying, it took like 3 weeks to publish. So that was just like so much anxiety because this app, I literally use an app, like you put the picture of the album, like you name the tracks and you put the credits in and then you just press submit.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we'll tell you when it's ready. And like, they don't even like give you like an estimated time of like how long it's going to take. They're just like, we'll like choose a date and like, we'll let you know when it's ready.
So you're just sitting there
like,
waiting.
Yeah, just like waiting there. I'm just like, all right. And like, it's literally like in cyberspace. Like my music's just like, just like there somewhere.
It's out
like,
in limbo.
Yeah. A lot of people were like, oh, this is like surprisingly really good. Like, oh, like, I didn't expect this. I'm like,
dang.
well, I'm like, I don't know if that's a compliment.
Yeah,
or,
right.
like, what do I say to that? Like, I'm like, I wouldn't send you something if I didn't think it was good. Also, it's not like I would like send you a movie recommendation of a movie I hated. Like,
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
like, I'm not gonna just go out of my way to say, oh, here, let me annoy you with this. It's like,
Yeah.
Well, I feel like too when you're creating, like this is just my opinion on it, is like, you know, whenever I have a project or a film or a short film or something, like the feedback from a random person telling me that like this was awesome, like that feels great when it's like, because I mean, you have your friends
Yeah,
and
no, I know
family
what
that
you
will always support you no matter what.
You get a random message from
But yeah, when you
someone,
get that
you're
random message,
Yeah.
be like, yo, like this shit was good. I was like, wow, like okay,
Definitely, it means
this
more to you.
actually- Right, it means
And
more
yeah,
to you.
especially when you get a message from someone you've known for like 20 years and they're like, oh, this is surprisingly good. You're like,
Thank you.
you're like I don't know what I'm supposed to say to that.
Right.
Well, how did it feel when I slipped into your DMs?
Yeah,
when I
no,
heard
it's
it.
pretty-
I sent him like a whole long paragraph because I mean I know how much like feedback means to
Sure.
somebody.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
You know, on the topic of your album, I want to ask you, do you have any specific processes when you're writing or when you're researching music, whatever the case may be? Like I know some artists, you know, they say, "Oh, I need to go to my place away from here. I need to go to write," kind of thing. You know what I mean? Do you have anything like that?
Like you were asking me earlier about inspirations and stuff.
Sure.
Like honestly, that's like the biggest thing for me is like finding sounds or melodies that I like and trying to like hone into that.
Yeah.
Would you say beat comes first or lyrics?
Beat
Really?
always, yeah. Beat. So that's why I was saying I literally freestyle
Off of beats, pretty much.
everything pretty much off.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Because it's really, I mean, sometimes I'll write off of a beat like afterwards, you know, like
Right.
not listening to the beat and just like thinking about a mood or something
Yeah.
in like a certain tone.
Right.
But a lot of the time, to me, the beat sets the tone. So it's just like
Definitely.
basing it off of that and like getting the certain energy of like that song and like the tempo and trying to figure out
Yeah.
For sure.
what would work like flow wise is like that's the biggest thing I like to do is like change up my flows. And
I would say off of your album, my favorite songs would be Cloud 9, Slow Motion, New Phone, Who Dis, and then Neverland.
Yeah,
You
and, for me personally, yeah, I agree with Neverland and Cloud 9, but not on your album Small World. That was the first song that I was introduced to your music.
yeah,
And it kind of just resonated with me. Like I said, it kind of has that lo-fi beat. I can vibe with it.
Small World is like the song I tried making, not to be popular, but like
Right.
almost to be more, like less rap.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
more like pop, I guess.
More melodic, I guess you
Yeah.
would say, in a way.
Yeah, I love that song now.
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. No, that was definitely like probably the best one I could have listened to get introduced to your music. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because then after that, everything else, like Dom, me and him have talked a lot about your music, and it's very versatile, and there's a lot of variety within that album. And Small World, like I said, it's just a good entry point to what you
Right.
have to offer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, I feel like balanced in between.
Yeah. I would say, especially when you dropped the slow motion music video. I remember listening to it too the first time. It definitely hit me a lot harder than a lot of the songs in there. I mean, you know, the ones I listed are in terms of like beat and stuff, like just more
just over
kind of
the
like
song. Yeah, not the message, you know.
But the message behind slow motion, it really hit me because I can deeply relate to it.
yeah, it's definitely an artist struggle
Right.
story. It's like
Yeah.
the whole journey about being literally feeling like you're stuck in place,
Right.
doing the same thing over again, and
Yeah.
you're just like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's ironic too because how I met you again was, you know, you're working at a
a retail
retail
yeah.
job, and I come in, we start chatting, and then you release this, and like I can just relate to that. Like sometimes I just want to say like, you know, fuck the money, and I just want to put all my attention onto something that I want to eventually do.
Yeah,
you know.
that's like
It's like
the
a
whole
big
thing.
struggle.
I was working at a restaurant and I was like, this is just like so terrible. Like there's hours when you're working in a restaurant where there's nothing that happens. You're
Right.
just
Yeah.
like, this
You're
is
just like,
what
what
I'm
the
doing.
fuck am I doing?
And
Yeah.
like this is what my life is.
Yeah.
And you're like,
But it's funny because like
then
when you
you-
have a job like that, like, you know, 2-3 hours or 4 hours will just go so long. But I bet you when you're recording or writing or, you know,
Oh, yeah.
just freestyling, you can fucking do that for
Yeah.
10 hours if you wanted
it's,
to.
Right.
it's
You know?
terrible. It's like, and yeah, it feels like you're moving in slow motion when
Yeah.
you're doing stuff you don't like. And
Yeah.
then when you're doing stuff you actually want to be doing, it's like, it's over.
No,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, coming from, you know, my background, before I was laid off in July, I was working a 9 to 5, and you know, I kind of needed something to, you know, branch out and be creative about, something I could be passionate about, and that's when I brought the idea of the podcast to Dom. And ever since then, like, this has kind of been like the highlight, I guess, like a highlight of my life, you know, because who wants to, you know, sit at a desk for 8 hours a day and just kind of go through the motions? Like, I needed something to where I can, like, you know, kind of pour my heart and soul into a little bit.
Yeah, and like yeah, I've been trying to hold on to something that I love. Like that's like there's always that passion that you're gonna have in your heart where it's like never gonna leave you. Like no matter what, like you know, like you're gonna probably push it on your kids if you don't push it on yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
But like I'd rather be able to like actually follow that and just be like try to, I mean, you kind of have to suck it up. It's pretty much like the only like thing that you can do about it. It's just like if you really want to follow something you love, like it's gonna take the time that it takes.
You got to be that type of person that's, you know, understands that and is willing to take that time and to understand that you're in for, you know, a long and windy road ahead, but when you get there, the payoff is what you're working for. So
I'm working on my like brand / label, which is on all like my album covers too. Loot. It stands for Last of Our Time.
Oh, nice.
So and it's basically, it's gonna be like clothing, media,
definitely
music company, but
that's awesome.
It's definitely something like I'm super passionate about.
Yeah.
And like it's called Loot Legacy. So it's like what's gonna be your legacy pretty much, because it's like we're like the last generation of like people before technology really took over the world.
That's,
so it's like it's like we're literally the last generation born before
like really high tech cell phones and shit.
Like, like people having personal cameras all the time, and like
right,
like people have so many pictures of their kids now versus like our parents have like 2 photo albums of us, and it's like, oh, this is so much, like I can't even store this in our house. It's like, well, that's just the technology. That's like nothing to do with it. It's definitely so different now, and like I don't want to sound like an old person saying that, but like I know every generation changes, but like technology's never been so advanced, so it's like a completely different beast.
I remember when I was getting my phone probably like 4 years ago or something. I was in Verizon store, and this dad didn't know how to use this new iPad or something he was playing with like in the store. And then his like 5-year-old kid comes up and is like, oh, this is how you do it, and is like showing his dad how to use an iPad. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's strange to think about.
So just talking a little bit about some of your music video, the slow motion music video and one you have coming out, why did you choose slow motion to make the music video?
I wanted to do something that was like almost poppy, like in that sense, where it was like kind of catchy and just kind of like gets your head bumping. And then I was like, slow motion, we could easily do just like camera effects where it's like, I saw some stuff about long exposure where like you could have a regular video and then long exposure in the background. So I was getting these ideas about changing the frame rates and all that stuff. So he was like, well, if we do double the frame rate or whatever and half speed, then it'll look like you're moving in slow motion, but your mouse moving at the regular speed. So we came up with that idea, and then we just kind of based it off of that. There's like the whole thing will be in slow motion, and then we kind of tried to come up with themes like around that, and, like, around the song. So I came up with like 2 mood boards, and I was like running away from something, or like chasing something, or like chasing a dream, like, you know, running away from like your fears and stuff like that, but like kind of trying to make it a literal sense. And like trying to come up with something physical besides just the camera effects. So we were like, the whole theme of like the road, like old sport, like throughout the project, we're just like the yellow line just like kind of makes perfect sense. It's like it's on the cover of the project too, and it's like just kind of like yellow paint also is like for yield and like for caution and stuff like that. So it's like you're moving slow, like caution, but like it's also trying to show the path that everything's going on. And so they came up with that idea, the directors, they came up with the yellow paint idea. I pretty much just came up with the slow motion aspect. Like, and they came up with that paint idea after, like I said, like chasing something or like running after something. So the whole thing was just like plotted about the movement on the line pretty much. And
that's awesome.
Well, I kind of like that too, how you said the yellow line in the road. It's like this divided, you know, you pick your path type of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Talking a little bit about breaking into the industry, we want to know what your next move is. Do you have anything lined up? Directions you have in mind?
So it was pretty cool, like when I made the music video and I posted it on TikTok. I was telling Dom I got like one TikTok that got 150,000 views.
Damn.
Which was like, in a TikTok sense, it's actually not a lot at all.
I
but
mean,
in the sense of viewership in general,
sure.
150,000 views is a shit ton. So
Yeah, definitely.
That's why I was like, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
And I did get like a bunch of people reaching out to me, like being like, let's collaborate. And
oh, wow.
we should work together. So it's definitely a good platform for even connecting with other artists, which
Definitely.
it's definitely really cool. Like I connected with some dude, and you guys know Charlie Puth.
Yeah.
Like he's super big singer and producer.
Definitely.
And a guy who I'm making a song with right now, my next song I'm releasing, he got like a co-sign by Charlie Puth on a TikTok he made. His
No
TikTok
way.
got like 2 million views.
Oh, wow.
Like, so that's what I mean by like 150,000 versus 2 million. It's
Right.
Comparatively, it's like ridiculous, but still a lot. And
Definitely.
he has like 100,000 followers now on TikTok. So
Yeah.
I'm always looking for the artists that I actually want to work with, not just like
Yeah.
the artist I know who's gonna get me more recognition, because it's like that's not always the right path.
Definitely.
And it's like which is weird, because sometimes you have to turn down something that like seems like it would help you, but in the long run, like it's like not that helpful actually. It's
Right.
weird.
I think going forward for you, keeping that mindset, that's going to take you places for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, didn't graduate from college, I don't have a standard like degree or anything. I have my high school graduate, and then that's pretty much it. So it's like definitely have been in like a dark place and like had that motivate me, and it's weird how like the shittier stuff in your life makes you do better stuff.
Right.
And like when you hear like stories about like people that have terrible childhoods and you see the futures they have, you're like, that's ridiculous. Like Oprah, like
Right.
like Robert Downey Jr. or something like that. You know, it's like they have traumas that they go through that creates the energy.
Genuine content will always resonate with people way more than people who do it for the wrong reasons.
Right? Yeah, I mean, it's just longevity. I feel like it's just
Of
like
course.
how soon it takes off versus how long you actually last is like the biggest thing.
Right. And it's funny you bring up, going through struggles and things like that. I feel like, and it's different for everybody, but you almost have to sort of fall to the bottom before you can rise to the top. It's kind of like that concept. And, everybody's life is different. Everybody's struggles are different. And the bottom might be different than what other person's bottoms would be. You know what I mean? That kind of sounds a little wonky, but you get what I'm saying. And, I think it's awesome that you're able to take something in your life that has proved to be a negative and turn it into something positive.
To get where you want to be, it might take 5 years or 10 years or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
you really don't know, especially, the industry you're trying to get into.
Yeah, for sure.
It could be tomorrow, it could be in a couple weeks or next, it's just, there's no set date. There's no like.
And that's the thing. My whole life I felt like that, and it's not like I this is the only thing I can call it, like a rock star mentality, where it's like that idea where it's like you're not going to be satisfied until you do all those things for yourself.
Exactly.
So how are you supposed to like go out and create another life, or literally like support someone else's life? Like, it's like my thing is like, if I'm not like happy about the things that I want to do, it's like, how are you going to be happy about someone else's stuff?
The big question.
What is biggest dream?
What is your biggest dream, and how will you make sure you get there?
Wow, that's a hard one.
Yeah, definitely.
Take your time. Go ahead.
Honestly, like even though we did talk about music for the most of it, probably being in a featured film, or like directing a feature film.
Yeah.
Just as a life goal, like down the line, like I think music will be my branch into entertainment in general, like if it be acting or modeling or whatever, like just like brand recognition.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, we both are. And so that's the end of today's episode. Seamus, thank you for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Really appreciate it. We want to wish you luck in your very promising future. We can't wait to see what you have in store for us. Dom, would you just talk a little bit about next week's episode?
So next week's episode, our next guest is Pratt Performance Systems. We're getting Kyle Dorr and James Pratt, the owner of the facility. Basically what they do is they run small group training programs for athletes in high school, college, etc., and also in person for adults and so anybody trying to get, personal training pretty much, but in small group. Nice. So I'm really excited to get them on. I've known them for, I think, over a year now. Got really close with them. Nice. So it's going to be a really fun guest.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot to talk about. Good. It's going to be a really good time.
Explore more of our fitness background.
Right. We've talked a little bit about that on the pod already. So, but now we're to close out this week's episode with Deezill's latest track, Neverland. We hope you enjoy it.
City on fire, so I'm stayed inspired. I don't know if I can stay tonight, yeah. There's a place in the sky that I've been hoping I could get up in the night, yeah. But I'm playing, it's alright. Y'all ain't got the time left for saving a life. I've been going hard trying to get them hits up. Either way, I gotta stand like this, go fast. We ain't worried about the past. Y'all been up and last, better hurry up your ass. Got gas, so we pick 'em out the pack. But I don't know the names of the lames in the back like that. Trying to fill up all the cracks, put it back all together. Now I'm back in the middle like, yeah. Got me out up on the map. Y'all been throwing money while I'm counting in the back. Like, I feel like I'm Peter Pan. I know I'll never land. I pull it back, then let it in. Like, la da 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 da. Brand new hook like every day. I roll one up, then sail away. I swear there ain't no real way. Like, la da 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 da. And the flowers that I I got homies I don't owe. If the old me met the new me, don't think y'all would get along. I got holy on my own. Fuck the old me's, now I'm gone. I know I was meant to say it. Either way, I'm on my own. I've been on, benefits is long gone. I'ma go up on the stage for the next bite. Give a fuck about the fame or the check, like everybody been the same all in this life. This life, young kid been fighting. Hop in real quick, we riding. I said, oh shit, we driving fast. And we ain't worried about the past. Y'all been up and last, better hurry up your ass. Got gas, so we pick 'em out the pack. But I don't know the names of the lames in the back like that. Trying to fill up all the cracks, put it back all together. Now I'm back in the middle like, yeah. Got me out up on the map. Y'all been throwing money while I'm counting in the back. Like, I feel like I'm Peter Pan. I know I'll never land. I pull it back and let it in. Like, la da 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 da. Brand new hook like every day. I roll one up and sail away. I swear there ain't no real way. Like, la da 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 da. And the flowers that I roll, feel like la da da da. And the flowers that I roll, feel like la da da da. Trying to eat up off the plate. Take a swing, probably miss, boy, you striking out. I can show you all this shit and what this life about. Hit a spliff, now I'm about to go the flyer out. Fly around, feeling like I'm Peter Pan. Boy, you number two, just like a G